Thank you for allowing me the privilege of being your guest speaker. 95 years ago on this 11th day of this 11th month, at 11 minutes past the 11th hour, marked the Armistice Day of the Great War. The war to end all wars, or more commonly known in history today, is World War I. Armistice Day was first recognized in 1919 as a National Day of Remembrance by President Woodrow Wilson to remember the veterans of that terrible war that ended only a year earlier. Armistice Day was changed in 1954 by President Dwight Eisenhower to Veterans Day to ensure that the country remembered the veterans of all wars, a day not only honoring the 1,531,036 wounded and the 1,321,612 killed in combat since 1775, but with the millions of American veterans in arms past and present who have served to protect this United States over the past 237 years, making it possible for us to be here today for this ceremony. To preserve and protect the peace and the freedoms for which our Constitution guarantees each one of us here, our forefathers created our Army on June 14, 1775, our Navy, October 13, 1775, our Marines, November 10, 1775, a Coast Guard, August 4th, 1790, and most recently our Air Force, September 17, 1947. It was the shot heard around the world, 19 April, 1775. Remember the Maine, 15th February, 1898, a date which will live in infamy, 7 December, 1941. We will not tire, we will not falter, and we will not fail, September 2001. It has been phrases like these that have rallied millions of Americans since the beginning of our nation to stand up and fight against oppression and tyranny in wars like the American Revolution, in which we declared our independence, to our first war on terrorism against the pirates in the Barbary Wars in 1801 to 1805, when we demonstrated as a nation our global reach. The Spanish-American War, which following our Civil War helped reunify the resolve of a single nation against a foreign foe. Then came two terrible world wars, followed by a long Cold War against communism, which wasn't always that cold. And now today we have our current war, the global war on terror, which began 12 years ago when 2,995 civilians were killed by 19 terrorists. A Memorial Day 2010 St. Louis Post-Dispatch headline read, "Afghanistan, America's longest war." While it catches the reader's attention, it couldn't be further from the truth. I remember the forgotten war, more commonly known as the Korean War, which, including our local news, forgot that it did not end in 1953, but it has only been paused with an uneasy truce, leaving a demilitarized zone in a country that has U.S. forces standing on it 60 years later, with their weapons facing the enemy, who has their weapons facing at us. Today, the press talks about our country in terms of the 99%. Well, today is not about the 99%. It is about the roughly only 9%. That's right, only 9% of the U.S. current population are veterans, and each year that number gets smaller. The press and public sometimes use the term veteran in a negative or demeaning way, but they quickly forget that it is these veterans that have protected for them this right to speak that way. And that is what makes our veterans great. So what is a veteran? The dictionary definition? A person who has long experienced or practiced in an activity or capacity. A person who has served in the armed forces. An old soldier, like Mr. Laughlin, who has seen long service. My definition of a veteran is someone who's been willing to pay it forward for those freedoms that we all enjoy. Someone who has sweat, frozen, cried and bled with their friends and family all of whom gave some, and some of whom gave all. In my 21 years of service, and as a combat veteran of both the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, I have served with many brave men and women in both peacetime and combat. I've had the opportunity to see and hear firsthand their stories and hear from veterans from prior wars as far back as World War II. And with that honor, that I'm grateful. Not one of them enjoyed having to fight a war. Not one of them enjoyed being away from loved ones on holidays, birthdays, anniversaries. But all were willing to sacrifice everything for one another and for our country. We hold ceremonies like this today to recognize all of those who have sacrificed to protect the freedoms that we enjoy. Their unselfish display of devotion to our country, repeated countless times over and over again throughout history. We remember the thousands of Americans currently fighting and in harm's way away from their families today. And we remember the families who suffer with them while their loved one is away. I'm able to raise my head high, and I'm proud to say that I am a veteran. It is the sacrifice of the 9% that we honor this Veterans Day. So with those present today who are part of this 9%, please stand and join me.
World War II veterans. I would like you guys to join me in a round of applause.